Hello, people. I'm very excited today to share my first transmission for September to my Patreon people. I just spent the day with my beautiful family out gatekeeping, and so I felt like the energies were so beautiful that I wanted to share some of them with you. So welcome. So if you're new and you haven't watched through the other videos, these transmissions are very much in the flow of what wants to come through, and today is very much just the energy, this energy of clarity. Recently, this person asked me a question. He said, you obviously see that there are a lot difficult things that are happening in the world. Do you feel like there's any hope? Do you feel like we can actually fix those things? Do you think that humanity can actually get it together and create a future of peace and creativity? And this question kind of took me by surprise because I guess since I live out here in the forest, I don't very often bump into seeing the big city and seeing how terrible it is all the time. And also just the fact that because we're immersed in this beautiful ascension and new earth and light energies here, anchoring it into the earth, that in some ways that we're already living in that timeline. And so there's actually no timeline in which humanity does not get to that place of peace, of wholeness. And so that moved me into a great place of gratitude to be experiencing these higher timelines where a lot of people are still experiencing fear and worry and all of those emotions that we could feel when we're looking at the way things exist still in some places in the false matrix. And so I guess this transmission of energy is a lot about moving and shifting our consciousness and our energy into that vibration of almost like a moment in the future when there is absolute peace on earth, when all the creatures on earth are in direct connection with this beautiful light that is our sun and our consciousness. Let's see here if we can catch this sleeping monster. I wonder if you guys can see him. That's my cat. He's here. So I invite you to take a long, deep breath. Coming into the body, releasing any energy that is not of love, not of your own soul's essence, any vibrations or thought forms or beliefs that are not serving our highest source-connected aspects of ourself. And as you breathe, almost as if your pores of your skin can also breathe and open, allow the pores and the cells of your body to also ingest and be nurtured by this energy that is present. Opening up the crown and the soul star chakras to receive this beautiful Stargate energies. Moving, opening the throat, opening into the heart, Moving and opening the solar plexus. This is a difficult chakra that we might have some issues with as we're awakening, because it is a complete shift in the sense of self. And so we're giving some extra love, some extra support through that center. Opening down into the sacral center, opening. This center is the one which we might get entangled in drama. And there might even be implants and ancestral patterns which actually make drama kind of addictive. So we're untangling those knots in the sacral chakra here. Sometimes when I get into a super high vibration, it's kind of hard to speak English. And finally, opening up the root, allowing this new codes, this new energy to flush the root chakra. We are restructuring our understanding and our concepts of what reality actually is and how we can move through time, through reality. And this process, as it begins at first, is kind of painful. This is the reason why this healing and this project is coming through to be called Earth Star. It is truly a healing of our Earth Star chakra, as the Earth Star is our physical being's connection to the earth. It is what anchors our body to the earth. It symbolizes our relationship and our understanding of this physical reality. Now, that understanding has been so distorted in our society by the cabal, by the deep state, by whoever. It doesn't really matter. What matters is that we recognize that humanity as a species have steered off path, off course in our connection and our relationship with nature, with our mother, with our creation. So this is what the artificial matrix is. What the false matrix is a artificial reality that is not in resonance with nature. And so it is not sustainable because it's not being fed by the organic living energies. And so when we're born into this world, all of our understandings of reality are taught to us by our parents, by society, who they themselves might have learned it from their parents. And a lot of these beliefs are very distorted. And these distortions go very deep into our subconscious, into our mundane, normal, day-to-day life. And so the moment of our awakening is actually just the very beginning. And they say that the process of absolutely deconditioning from the false matrix could take at least 7 years. And that is if you make it the thing that you do. That is your obsession, it's your hobby, it's your life. You are choosing this path of absolutely deconditioning from the artificial reality. And there is no other way. So we as humans, we as these nodes, points of our own species, or the light workers or the starseeds or the people that feel like there's something weird going on in the world and feel called or moved or inspired to discover something new. We are the people that are anchoring and consciously healing our connection to the natural world. And this, again, is kind of symbolized and exemplified in the Earth Star Chakra. That's our relation to the way we eat food, the relationship between us and the food that we eat and where it comes from, the relationship between us and other animals and living beings that live here on the planet, our relationship between us and nature spirits that live on this planet, and even our relationship to time. You can see that all of these things exist in a certain way, in a certain structure, what I call a certain geometry in the false reality that we're really used to. For example, factory farmed milk is good for you. This is a belief system or something that is injected into our consciousness through, lies, and through advertising. And to a lot of people, this is true. But for a lot of us, we have already come to realize that this is absurd. Now, that's just a very superficial, easy to pluck kind of virus. There are other ones that are more difficult to spot, like, I need money to survive. In the process of correcting these codes, it's important that we have access to our higher consciousness. You see, because it's very easy for us to get polarized about things. Like, you've seen that homeless guy on the street who's like, money is evil and I'm gonna, forbid it in my life forever. And then he's kind of living in the street. And of course, he's not really effective in changing the world and creating a better world for our future generations and for those people who are tuning into these sorts of transmissions and are living in this life. We are the ones that are really wanting to anchor in significant difference on our world. And so for us, we have to be very strategic in our process. And this is involved in our mastery. We're not walking a path of black and white, ones and zeros. There are infinite aspects to our journey. And we are smart enough, we are mature enough, we are present enough to keep track of all of those things, all at the same time. And so I think some people would call this the middle path. But actually, it's really quite extreme. Because the extremeness comes from our complete devotion to the process, where our ascension and our mission is the first and foremost important thing in our life that takes up the most time. Which makes sense, right? Time is how we experience our reality, and the more time we spend doing something, the more present a force it is in our life. And so what I'm hearing is that there are a lot of ways that we can do this. I have a lot of friends who are still working in the 3D. And for a long time, this was a viable path. This was something that was good, even because we were able to bring codes into those realities. But it seems as if that's also a comfortable path that a lot of people choose because it's a way that they can excuse themselves from making the leap. And to that, I say, there is a lot of magic on this side of the pond. And it's worth all the difficulties and all the hardship that were experienced in those moments of uncertainty. And that actually, what they really want me to talk about is the reprogramming of our reality. Kind of like, woo, because the energies are so strong, and like my brain is just like, poof, and English is very difficult. Okay, reprogramming our reality. So, when we're in our box, we have these belief systems that we are slaves, that the only way that we can make money is if we went to university, have a really prestigious degree, and this will allow us to make a whole bunch of money, right? It's like an equation. This is what everybody knows. You have to be somebody who holds a certain level of education to get a well-paying job. So then people would think, in order for me to make this money so that I can fulfill my dream, I need to do a certain thing out of fear of lack and the fear of not being able to make money in any other way, to remain in the false matrix. But the thing is, inside the false matrix, inside that belief system, if we are inside that reality, then it kind of almost boxes us in. Because when we shift and move outside of that paradigm, what we end up doing is unleashing our natural, unlimited creativity. And the soul's unique creativity is actually the most valuable thing in the world, because there is no other being exactly the same as you. And so your individuality and your uniqueness is actually the most valuable thing in the world. And that is part of the reason why it's being harvested. Why do you think, they're creating these sub-personalities that they try to mind control people into, instead of teaching everyone, just allowing everyone to be themselves, right? There's a huge agenda in our society that is against people expressing their true selves. And the reason for that is that our individuality and our inspiration and our creativity is the most valuable thing in the world. And this is where we can draw. If we stay in the false matrix, we don't have enough space, and we still carry the false belief systems, which do not allow us to actually discover where our true value is. Right? And part of this process is discovering our own unique inspiration, our unique motivation, our unique desires and love for the universe. And I think that in the organic matrix, in the organic creation, humans, which are creator beings, would be driven by their yearnings, their desires of the soul. And we can only come to discover those things if we begin to really deeply choose ourselves. And I'm also coming to realize, these messages, that are really for a specific group of people, especially at this moment in time. I'm not expecting, anyone to just wake up and receive these messages, because they are for beings who are walking the path of mastery, who already inherently and innately know that we are creator beings and that we can shift the reality through shifting and opening our own consciousness. Right? This is a visceral experience. It's not a concept. It's not like I'm going to imagine something and make it happen. It's a frequency interaction between our inner world and the outer world. Right? This is kind of the mystery school that we are in. And the first step in moving towards that state of consciousness is unraveling and deleting old false programs and belief systems that we caught from the false matrix. And I mean, the viruses sometimes can be so sneaky. But they all basically come down to one thing: the feeling and experience of love for ourselves and for the universe. I'm really, really stoked on everyone who has blessed my life, especially in the recent years. I just feel that there are a really solid group of people who are really working hard on ourself, on healing ourself, which allows our soul to actually come into our bodies. I think that this is the most vital work that we could be doing at this time, because there's so many things that we could do that we could make excuses for as being in alignment with the light. But at the end of the day, we are ground crew, we are anchoring, and the amount of light and wisdom and truth we can actually anchor and embody in our bodies, in our moment-to-moment expression of self, it's where it's at, and it's actually what is going to bring about the revolution. So I'm super stoked and proud of us. We're doing super good. I'm happy to be creating this space for us to sink in that movement, in that action. We are literally in the energy of transformation, and this is beautiful. Whoo. So I'm really sorry if the words are not coming through, very coherently. I feel like it was all over the place, but this energy is coming through. It's very strong. is kind of hard to articulate, but we are doing it. We are speaking the words which allow our intellect and consciousness to associate, and we are accomplishing this. So there's a frequency of innocence that is coming through. Is the place beyond trauma, is the place after trauma and before trauma. It's a place of total trust in the universe and in ourself and in our community. And because there is a space of total trust, is not something that we even think about, and this then is experienced as an energy of complete serenity and peace. So there's a lot going on here right now. So as we move into these lower chakras and we begin to clean, we might feel some difficult emotions, especially in the first moments of our awakening, in the first moments of when we decide that we're going to begin to recalibrate and restructure our reality. We might feel a lot of sadness because these are emotions that were unable to be acknowledged before, right? It's like your subconscious and your body felt abused by the Pop-Tarts, felt abused by the pornography, felt abused by the mind control that was being disseminated by the TV and the radio, because that was just true. Just because we were under the illusions doesn't mean that there wasn't a part of us that also knew about this and felt betrayed and felt hurt, felt violated. So all of these kind of subconscious big feelings are going to come up, and we have to hold them, we have to witness them, because that energy is the same energy as us moving towards reconciliation. And for those of us who are healers, who are seers, this is also the acceptance of our true self, the acceptance of our gifts. Because, I know all too well, in the first parts of our awakening, that denial where, I'm going to eat that junk food so I stay in a low vibration so I don't have to face the truth of my destiny because it hurts, because it's too big, because it's too much responsibility. All of those self-destructive thoughts that are actually distortions that are coming out of this wounded self. So we just have to hold these feelings. Clear. Oh. Clearing all distortions, restoring all distorted geometry in our body, in our field, in our consciousness. So I just wanted to share this energy with you. I hope that it came through coherently. Blessings and mahalo, family. Bye for now.